All right. Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going somewhere, a little unexpected. We're diving into the world of homemade yeast fertilizer.
Yeast fertilizer.
You heard that right. The same stuff that makes our bread all fluffy and delicious can apparently give our gardens a serious boost.
Huh, that's interesting. I've never heard of that before.
Me neither. I was pretty surprised when I saw it, but apparently it's a thing. And today we're going to figure out just how this simple DIY concoction actually works.
All right, I'm all ears. Let's get into it.
So the guide we're looking at lays out the whole process, but to be honest, it all sounds a little too good to be true. Like, can yeast really do all that for our plants?
Well, actually, there's some real science behind it. You see, when yeast ferments, it produces all these nutrients that are super beneficial for plant growth. It's like a power smoothie for your garden.
So it's not just some old wives' tale.
Nope, not at all. It's all about harnessing the power of biology, really.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. So, walk me through this recipe. The guide makes it sound ridiculously easy.
Oh, it is. It's surprisingly straightforward. You just combine yeast, sugar, warm water, and let it sit and do its thing. That's the fermentation part. And then you dilute it before giving it to your plants.
Dilute it. Why is that so important?
Well, think of it like this. Too much of a good thing can actually be bad. If you give your plants that yeast mixture straight up, it can be too strong and might damage their roots.
Ah, I see. So it's like you wouldn't gulp down a whole bottle of hot sauce, would you?
Exactly. You just need a dash to add some flavor. Same idea here.
Makes sense. So the guide also mentions that yeast fertilizer can boost root growth. How does that work exactly?
Right. So during fermentation, yeast produces these compounds called auxins. And auxins actually act like growth hormones for plants.
Like they tell the roots to grow bigger and stronger.
Exactly. They encourage the roots to branch out and expand, which gives your plants a really strong base. And when the roots are healthy, they can absorb more water and nutrients.
Wow. So it's a win-win.
Oh, and it gets even more interesting. Auxins don't just help with root growth. They're also involved in other plant processes, like how the stems grow and even fruit development.
So it's like a multivitamin for plants.
You got it.
I'm also curious about the guide's claim that yeast improves nutrient uptake. How does that happen?
Okay, so this is where it gets really cool. Yeast, or the byproducts from fermentation, they seem to change the soil in a way that makes it easier for plants to absorb nutrients.
Really? How?
Well, one theory is that yeast helps to break down complex nutrients in the soil into simpler forms that are easier for plants to take up.
So it's almost like the yeast is pre-digesting the food for the plants.
Exactly. It's giving the plants a little extra help to get all the nutrients they need.
Wow. It's like yeast is the ultimate personal chef for your garden.
Huh. I like that.
So, just to recap, this DIY yeast fertilizer is natural, it's organic, it boosts root growth, and it helps plants absorb nutrients better. I mean, I'm starting to understand why people are so excited about this stuff.
It really is remarkable. It just shows you the power of natural solutions, you know? Sometimes the best answers are hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, it's incredible. This whole deep dive has really opened my eyes to the power of simple, natural approaches to gardening. I mean, if yeast can do all this for our plants, what other everyday ingredients are out there just waiting to be discovered?
That's a great question. I guess we'll have to keep exploring and see what other hidden gems we can find.
Definitely. And for those of you listening who want to learn more about how to actually make this yeast fertilizer, you can check out the full guide on the Bacolod City Labor Partnership YouTube channel and Facebook page.
It's a great resource. Lots of helpful information there.
All right. Well, this has been another fascinating deep dive. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. Always something new to learn.
Thanks for joining us today as we explored the amazing world of yeast fertilizer.
And don't forget to check out those resources we mentioned for all the details.
Absolutely. And thanks again for listening to the Bacolod City Labor Partnership Podcast. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.